Howdy and welcome back. When last we spoke in the last video, I was farming up some stuff in the dungeons, mostly money in order to buy more hit points and also some food. I got myself a horse, and that helps to save food when traveling around. And I would like to do some more dungeon delving because I don't think I'm quite ready yet to go further down in the dungeons, because the further down you go, the harder the enemies will be, and I will soon get a quest. That is something that I remember, where I have to go actually to level 3 or 4, I believe. But before that, we want to level up a little more, and there are two tools that I would like to point out, which are helpful if you play a game like this. The first one is actually saving your game before you try something risky, which is obvious. I mean, you still have to do that with a lot of modern games as well, but especially important here, not only because I recently forgot to save my progress at the end of a session, because I guess I'm so used to game saving on exit. So it's a good idea to actually save at the end of his session, and it's also a good idea to save before you go deeper into a dungeon, because you may get killed, you may get lost. It's an actual possibility, so do that. And the other tool is some paper and a pen, which is something I always had next to my computer when I was playing games back in the day. I still use that sometimes with certain games. But since you didn't have like a lot of the conveniences like auto mapping dungeons or like an elaborate quest log or something, it would be a really good idea to take notes. And one thing you could do with these notes, for example, is write down prices of items. Now, before I recorded this, I took a little trip around the area to see what else is around, what the other towns are, because I of course don't remember all that. And I visited some vendors, and because of that, there are new options for items I can purchase in Britain. And so I would like today to take you around a little round trip in the neighborhood and check out the towns and the items I can buy. So let's see what has changed in Britain, which right now is my home base. If I go and check out the weapons vendor, I have some new items. I can now actually buy a greatsword. I can buy an amulet and a staff. If I go to the armor vendor, I can actually buy two of the most important items in the game, which is the vacuum suit and the reflect suit. The vacuum suit obviously is like a spacesuit, and if you remember what I said in the earlier videos, or if you hadn't watched those earlier videos, the first Ultima games combined fantasy and a little bit of science fiction. So later on you have to go to space. And I remember reading in those books that I recommended yesterday that Richard Garriott was a big fan of science fiction, and still is probably, because he actually went to space. And he was very much inspired by George Lucas. And so he put in a little space shooter into this game, which we hopefully get to see soon. And also there was a quote in that book saying that Garriott put that in there because he wanted to do everything he could and fill up like the whole disc and do everything he possibly could in a game. So we will go to space, and for that we need a vacuum suit, because if we, go in there, go out there in a plate mail, we'll suffocate and die. There's also the reflect suit, which is, if I recall correctly, the best armor in the game. And I would like to get that soon. Right now I don't have any money. So, back in the old days, I would have written down Britain reflect suit 230 coins. So if I'd go to a dungeon, I would keep going until I had enough money to go back and buy that. So yeah, what else do we have? The transport guy. In the last video you saw he had a horse, a cart, a raft and a frigate. And now He also has got the air car, which is really convenient because you can travel anywhere, you know, go over the ocean and everything with that, and shuttle, which you obviously need to go to space. So those two things will become really important. Right now they're only very expensive, but again, I would write down air car 925 coins and the shuttle. So yeah, those things I can now buy, which is pretty good. Let's see what the magic vendor has, because I haven't talked about that yet. He's got open, magic missile, you know, so if you want to do some magic ranged combat, you can use that, and let it down, which is pretty cool for dungeon delving. I don't quite remember how magic works in this game, as in what I need for that, but I would soon try it out and get me ladder down, and also try to find ladder up, because these are some tools you can use to go in between the different levels of a dungeon. So yeah, I would write down those three spells are available here, and that's good to know. So usually I would go, oh, let me fight this guy. Yay! 1 silver, 14 copper, which means 14 coins. In the last few videos I went down here towards the south to go to a dungeon and you know, do a little dungeon delving, and I will do that again soon, but today we're gonna check out the neighborhood and go over here. There's the next town. So let's go in there. This is the town of Moon, which kind of makes me smile because, you know, some of the names of towns in this game I remember were really weird. We'll find that out later. And, you know, maybe this is the inspiration for Moonglow, which was, you know, a town in the later Ultima games. Who knows? So let's see what he has. He's got Unlock, which is nice for chests that you find. If you remember in the last video, I found a chest in a dungeon, couldn't open it, so that would have been the way to do that. And we've got ladder up, so we can get ladder up and ladder down. And I will have to try this soon, because I really, after all these years, I don't remember quite how magic worked, and so we'll try. Let's check out these vendors. Sorry, let's try again. Same stuff, leather armor, chain and plate, the vacuum suit and reflect, same prices as well. And bow and arrow and the wand. So yeah, that's that. So let me leave town and see what else is there. Let's go up north. Oh, there's another knight. Check him out. Dark Knight. So I'm going up, and there's another town to the north. It's Pause. And I may be wrong, but I think that's the name that Garrett actually used up until... Wasn't there Pause in Ultima Online? It's been so long. So... Same stuff. Let's check out the armor vendor. Obviously, again, the same stuff. And let's see what the magic vendor has. Keep running into bushes. Unlock and ladder up. Okay, cool. So what else is around? And that's another thing, you know, if you don't have a map, you can draw a map, or you can take notes of like the position of other towns. Nice. There's another dungeon here. Let's go all the way up. There's another dungeon here. Let me quickly check. The Unholy Hole. Sounds nice. And what's this one? Montor. Another name used in later games. So let's see what else we have. My game is telling me I can't walk on water. I will be able to eventually. It's another dungeon right here. Let's check out what that is. It's Perinia. Not gonna do any fighting today unless I get ambushed. I would just like to see the neighborhood. Just quit. This is a town of you, and that's actually a town that really keeps appearing in the series all the way up until Ultima Online. Actually, one of the guilds I was in Ultima Online, an archer guild, was mostly archer characters. We were based in that town. So yeah. I assume the name is based on the tree, the yew tree, or yew tree. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it correctly. It's a very old English word as far as I know. And we've got another castle. Castle of the Lost King. And this guy, I think, will give me the first quest that I was talking about, where I have to go to a deeper part of a dungeon. So let's talk to him. Can offer either pence or service, so let me give him my money. And once again, let's transact and offer my service. And he wants me to kill a gelatinous cube. And that I remember, I was looking for that back then. These are lower in the dungeons, all the way down. 3rd, 4th level, and I'm saying all the way down, but those dungeons go even further down actually. So, you know, that's not even. You can go way lower, and you'll probably have to, because remember you also had to get a body part of a Balrog or Balron, I think. I know they're called Balrogs in the Tolkien world, but Richard Garriott also changed some of the names, I guess. I don't know if he was worried about copyright problems. For example, he had a race in there called the Bobbits, which I guess is an obvious, you know, hint at hobbits. So, let's see, is there anything to the south? There's a dungeon here that I used to go to. Some more enemies. Yeah, kill the hood. And actually there's one more town. But yeah, I forgot that you get attacked in the woods by like treants and archers. So here's one more town, the town of Fawn. And since I'm running rather low on food, I should try to hurry back to Britain, because I will otherwise soon run out of food. Okay. And we can actually get some food as well. And that's another thing. I hated that mechanic of food, where it was like, okay, I gotta make sure my hit points don't go to 0, otherwise I'll die. But I'm running around in the open world, and I have to make sure I have enough food. And it is kind of old school. And I read I think it was a review of one of these old games where someone said how much he hated the mechanism. But you know, it kind of, I think Richard Garriott was maybe trying to add some difficulty, or like something that you have to manage. But maybe it was also a way to convey to you how big this world is, because I mean, if you look at the size of the actual gaming world of the overworld map, for the time back then, that was a huge world. If you look at it now, it's kind of small. But if you're in town or in a dungeon, you obviously don't spend any food because, you know, you're just crossing a small distance. You're inside a town. But once you go out there and travel around in the overworld, you start spending food, and it is like, you know, the game telling you, okay, you're actually crossing vast distances here. So, you know, bring some food, because if you're traveling for a couple of days or months, you will need some sustenance. So let's go into town and get some food. Right now I can afford 11 packs of food. And from now on, once I go back into dungeons and farm some more, I will try to keep track of my food supply, get more of that, make sure I'm covered there, and also build up more hit points. Build up more hit points and also get the equipment that I saw. Oh man, getting swarmed here. Killing the squid first. Okay, so that was actually nice because I can now get quite a lot of food. Also would need to get some more hit points because I lost some, but that's okay. Let's get 15 packs of food. And now we've got more than 300 units of food. So yeah, well, once again, I think that mechanism was a way to show you how big the world is. And considering, you know, regarding goals that I have, next I would like to do more dungeon farming, kill a lot of enemies, try to afford the vacuum suit and the reflective suit, or maybe just the reflective suit, because I remember you could wear that in outer space as well. So I need 230 coins. I wrote that down, see how that goes. And also try out magic, and then get an air car so I can travel around in the world. So next time, farming, trying to earn a bunch of money and get hit points and gear. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy me exploring this ancient world in a double sense. And thanks for watching and your comments. Bye bye.